This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition.
Okay, so this guy is going up on a high pressure cutout. So what we can do, we come up here. This one's running. That's more than likely the one that was already working. It's harvesting ice right now. This is the one that's a problem. When I walked up, I saw this pressure control right here, and I thought maybe that was a fan cycle control, but it's actually not. Notice it's connected to the low side port. That's the low pressure control, so it probably failed at some point and someone cut it out and put this aftermarket control in here. This right here is gonna be our fan cycle control right here, this guy. Don't know if that's the only thing that's wrong, we'll see. I have no idea, we gotta put some gauges on it. Well, that's odd. It's only got 31 PSI equalized out from high to low. This guy's out of gas. What the heck? I wonder, I got the meter out because I wanna make sure, well, the compressor's not grounded, but we should have pressure on the high side. Let's see, I was wondering if it blew the terminals out. We have 200 volts, 200. 200. This guy's looking like it's out of gas. I mean, so many different places. The dryer's completely rusted out. Accumulator's completely rusted out. We need to reset this guy downstairs so that way it starts up and we can see. But this says high pressure cutout. Interesting. I don't know. I can't remember if it always registers high pressure cutout. No, but it's saying a high pressure cutout delay. That's odd. Let's just look around in here, making sure. I mean, I don't see oil everywhere. This thing could have been down for a very long time though. They have one machine that's running. They told me both of them were down, but they just didn't know that they're so busy that they're using the ice faster than the machine, the one that's working, can produce it. So I'm looking for anything really obvious for refrigerant leaks. I mean, let's grab a leak detector. Head downstairs, reset it, see what happens. I should be able to pull this up on my phone. It should communicate with my phone downstairs, I believe. That's really weird. I knew something was off. I don't think my my hose was depressing it enough because now it has pressure. I pushed in the contactor and all of a sudden it had pressure. So, okay, that's much better. Makes a lot more sense. I still am leaning towards it being a fan cycle switch problem. So let me head downstairs, reset it, and get my butt back up here and see what's going on. All right, here we go. Compressor contactor just kicked in. 250. It should cut in. So it's actually not calling for head pressure yet. Let it build up some heat load. There we go. Okay, it's not kicking in. It's gonna end up going off on high pressure. So what I'm gonna do is very, very carefully do this at your own risk. Nope, not gonna work. Pull this guy off. There we go. And pull this guy off. Put it right here. Yeah, it works. Risky. Condenser fan motor's working. So it's a bad fan cycle switch. Okay? Don't do what I did. Be careful. But sometimes you gotta understand what you're working on, right? So now we're maintaining pressure. So at this point, what we're gonna do, it's a fan cycle switch problem constantly on these things, okay? So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna shut this guy down right here. And we're gonna change out that fan cycle switch, then reset it and start over and see what happens. I had a pretty strong suspicion, so I actually brought up fan cycle switch and everything that I need. Do this a lot on these Manitowoc machines. Some power cord, electrical fitting, little adapter, fan cycle switch, head pressure fan cycling. This thing will last longer than the machine, so I'm gonna get it swapped out here. right, so we've got the fan cycle switch installed. The cord is zip tied up so it's not going to run into anything. It's set to cut in at 250 with a 50 psi differential, so it's going to cut out at 200. I've got the cord secured all the way back here so it's not going to rub against anything. Running in, all it's doing is acting as a switch, right? So we're breaking one leg. This is the other leg. This is a 208 volt condenser fan motor. So one leg is going directly to the contactor. The other leg is running through the pressure switch, connecting to the other leg of the motor right here. So that's it. And I put a quick connect for troubleshooting purposes. This guy just gets disconnected and left here, and I got rid of the jumper too. So now we can turn it back on. It's probably just gonna pump down because the unit went off on a safety, I'm sure. So it'll run for a minute, but then probably shut off, and then I'll have to go downstairs and reset it accordingly. Yeah, let's see if it actually kicks on. I don't know if it'll get high enough to kick on or not. 241, I don't think it will. Well, maybe. Interesting that it didn't. Yeah, it's pumping down right now. So we should be kicking in any minute if I wired it right. Maybe we need to adjust it a little bit. Sometimes these things are a little bit off. It might be set for 260. Let's give it a second, see where it cuts in at. Should be cutting in here any minute. Definitely needs an adjustment, huh? That or it's not pushing down the pressure control. Let's see. Let's grab my screwdriver right here. All right, so if we just go right here. Why didn't it kick on? Something happened here. What happened? We went off on high pressure. So, cut out is cut in at 250 minus differential of 50. So it should be working. Closes on rise of pressure. Yeah, that's correct. This thing should have kicked in. What the heck? I gotta figure that out. All right, we're kicked back in. Let's see, when is this thing gonna kick in? Oh, it just needs to be adjusted. So I'm just gonna adjust it a little bit lower. That's weird. It's like way out of calibration then, huh? I'll have to watch it a couple times, cycle, so that way we can make sure everything's working properly on it. All right, now I cycled it. Let's see what it kicks on back on at. I made an adjustment to it, so this thing is normal for it to cycle on and off while it's working. Should be kicking in any second now. If I have to adjust it, I will. There we go. Okay, so that's about 250. Now we need to see what it cuts out at too. So for that, we're gonna have to wait for it to go through its full cycle. So we're just gonna give it some time, let it make ice, and then we'll go from there. It's a pretty mild day today. I'd say it's about 75 degrees outside. So yeah, it's really not bad. We may or may not be shutting off here soon, depending on how far off the differential is on this guy. But basically, you're supposed to run these fan cycles to cut in, turn the condenser fan motor on at about 250, turn it off at about 200-ish, right in there. So we're just gonna keep watching it. All right, I adjusted it to cut in at about 203. Let's see if it cuts, or cut out at 203. Let's see if it cuts back in at 250. And then we should be good to go to watch this thing make ice. We should be getting close to ice too, judging by the suction pressure and the evaporator temperature. It's gonna take a few minutes. It may even harvest. Let's see, we'll give it some time. You know, it has been, I don't know, a bunch of years. There we go, 247. Finally time to take this off. It was all bubbly. I like to have my nice clean gauge set for longer than I need it. Probably just made a lot of people happy by doing that. But yeah, so we cut in where we should, so we're fan cycling like we should be now. You know,
I'm not perfect. I never will be. I'm just a person like you. I make mistakes. I try to be as honest as possible with the customer. When it comes to these videos, my goal is not to make a video. My goal is to complete the service call and potentially film what, I was doing. Share the tips and tricks. I hope that you get something from these videos. I hope that they benefit someone in some way. Maybe you get entertainment, maybe it helps you, maybe you learn something. I'm just a normal guy. I don't want to be put on a pedestal. I'm nothing special. I'm just a normal guy that happened to get lucky in, the way that my channel grew and it became what it was, okay? So it is what it is. But I do appreciate all the support from everybody. With this service call, this started as an emergency. The customer was frantic because their ice machine was down. First and foremost, whenever I start these calls on an ice machine like this, the first thing I do is tell the customer, hey, first off, are you sure you want it on overtime? Because this was an overtime service call. And they say yes. I said, okay, here's the deal. I highly suggest that you go ahead and order ice. Fill up that bin, minimum 3/4 of the way. This particular customer has like an 1,800 pound bin. It might be a 2,000, right? It's right in there. So I tell them, fill it up 3/4 of the way, 80% of whatever the max capacity of the bin is. Because even if I get this machine fixed, it's not going to catch up. It always happens when it's super busy. They never call you at 7 in the morning and say, hey, my ice machine hasn't been working. Can you come out and get it going maybe before it gets too big? No, they call you at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. And they're like, we're out of ice. I've got a dining room full of people. I need drinks. Get here fast. And that's what I tell them. Like, even if I fix this machine, it's not going to make enough ice for you to make it through the night. So I highly encourage them to go ahead and order ice. Call an ice delivery company. Have them deliver it. One funny thing, I'll go off on a tangent right now. But one funny thing is that I've been finding more and more these customers want to have their employees get in the employees' personal cars and run over to Sam's Club or Costco and buy 10 bags of ice, and they think that's going to get them through. And I always ask the manager, like, it's not my job to look out for them in this way, but I always ask them, I go, so you sent your employee in their personal car? And I said, does your corporate office, are they cool with your employee driving their personal car to these, to get ice for company reasons? Because the company now is liable for the employee's car. Managers don't sometimes think that through. I'm like, if your employee gets into a car accident, whether it be their fault or someone else's, while they're on the clock going to get ice for the restaurant, boom, that's a company lawsuit. Just pay the man. Call the ice delivery company. They'll come out for $600. They'll fill up your bin, okay, or whatever. Oh, that's too much money. Is it really though? In the grand scheme of it, is it really? I don't know, whatever. That's just one of those funny things. But so this one started out as the customer was frantic. They had no ice. They needed me to get out there as soon as possible because they basically were out of ice and they needed me out there ASAP. Once I got there, I actually found that both machines had a problem, but the right machine, okay, was a really easy fix. I didn't really put that one on film, but that one, there was a very small ice cube stuck in the ice damper. These Manitowoc machines have a damper. The damper has a magnet in it. That magnet, when the ice falls, it hits the damper opens, it just kind of pivots like that, and then it naturally springs back because there's a counterweight in the damper. It has a magnet. It closes a magnetic switch and then tells the machine that it's ready to make ice, or if the damper stays open, which was the case on the right machine, because there was a tiny ice cube stuck in that damper. The reason why there was a tiny ice cube in there is because the ice thickness was not set correctly. These machines should not be breaking the cubes up into individual cubes when it comes out of the damper. It should be breaking up when it falls into the bin or hits the ice deflector, and then that shatters the thing. So the sheet of ice that comes out of that evaporator should be solid when it comes out of the damper. Even when it goes through the damper, it should be solid. And then after the damper, it hits a deflector, a diverter, or just falls down in the bin and breaks up. That's the correct way that this works. So on the right machine, I just had to make an ice thickness adjustment, and that one was fine. You guys saw me repair the left side machine. Initially, it had a high pressure cutout, which was caused by a failed fan cycle switch, wasn't allowing the condenser fan motor to come on, and I found that it was faulty. So I went ahead and put an aftermarket fan cycle switch in this machine. Now, I'm a huge fan of using OEM components, but in this situation, Those factory fan cycle switches on these Manitowoc machines are just pure junk, like junk. I don't even really like putting them in under warranty, but if it's under warranty, we got to do whatever Manitowoc wants us to do. When it's out of warranty, it's fair game. I put in the aftermarket controls. They will last a lot longer than the factory ones, and they're typically a little bit cheaper too. Even though the factory one's just a tiny little peanut control, but you got to braze it in. It's a nightmare, whole thing. So I went ahead and changed the fan cycle switch, got the machine back up and running, watched it make a batch of ice. Another thing I'll tell you is as these machines get older and older, you start to see some problems with both evaporators not dropping at the same time. There was probably like a 10-12 second delay between the right evaporator and the left evaporator. It's pretty typical on older machines. It does get worse as time goes on. It can be a couple different things. It can be harvest valves starting to stick. It could be low charge. It could just simply be that the machine's dirty. There's a lot of different things. But in this one, I wasn't too concerned about it. We actually went back and did a follow-up visit a couple days later because we were working on their walk-in cooler, and machine was working fine. No error messages. Everything was all good. Okay. So when it comes to overtime service calls, that's what this was. I try to just get the equipment up and running, you know, as best as possible. Then we come back on straight time, go through it if we need to. In this situation, we really didn't need to. We just did a follow-up, which we could have done over the phone too. So we got them back up and running. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Hey, it is January 1st of 2025. So I want to wish you guys all a happy new year. And I want to thank you for the support and the words of encouragement that I've gotten from so many of you over the whole time I've been making these videos, but especially over 2024. 2024 was a challenging year. It was a tough year, but there was a lot of triumphs and good things that came out of 2024 too, okay? I hope you and your family are healthy, safe, and you have a great new year, okay? Please, if you are interested in helping out the channel, consider subscribing to the channel. Follow my other social media platforms. I'm on all social media platforms, okay? Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter. By the way, I hate TikTok, but I do use it just because it's a social media thing, but I despise that app. But anyways, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I'm on all social media platforms under HVACR videos. If there's one that I'm not on, hit me an email or shoot me an email. Let me know what I should sign up for. If there's something else that's active that you like or something like that, let me know. I'm always interested in looking at new social media platforms, but please consider subscribing, following me on all those other platforms. I really do appreciate you all. If you're interested in supporting this channel, you know, the easiest way to support this channel is just watch the videos from beginning to end. That really is the easiest way. That's all you got to do. Cost you a little bit of your time, doesn't cost you any money, okay? But there is some other ways you can support the channel if you want to do so financially. You can support the channel via PayPal, Patreon, or YouTube channel memberships. There's links in the show notes of this video on how to do all that stuff, okay? You can also go to my website, hvacrvideos.com, where we have merchandise available. We got hats, beanies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, but the sweatshirts and t-shirts were kind of on closeout, so once those are gone, they're gone for now. They're not moving very much, and we have to spend a lot of money, and they take up a lot of space in my house. So and I like the quality of the screen printing. You know, I don't really like the quality of print on demand. However, when I researched print on demand, which is where you just go to a website and whatever you order, they make it and they ship it to you. But print on demand tends to be lower quality, at least when I looked it all up in 2017. Is, you know, maybe there's better stuff now, but for now, I like ordering the stuff and having it in stock. So that's why we're slowly getting rid of the sweatshirts and the t-shirts and stuff. But check out the website, hvacrvideos.com, for all the merchandise. It's a great way to help support the channel. Last but not least, you can go over to truetechtools.com. Truetechtools.com is a website, great people that work there. They have a large selection of HVACR tools. A good majority of the stuff that you see me using in my videos typically comes from TrueTech Tools. I actually have an affiliate program set up with them. If you use my offer code, big picture, one word, at checkout, you get a discount, and then I get an affiliate commission from that order. Okay, so I get a small percentage of the order. You guys get a nice little discount, and it's a great way to help support the channel. That discount code or affiliate code is big picture, one word, okay? I really do appreciate you all. Please, again, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, share the social media content, Shoot me an email if you want to reach out to me, hvacrvideos@gmail.com. Again, thank you so very much. Happy New Year, and we will catch you on the next one.